Welcome back to a special hour of the Tamron Hall Show. We're with Kelsey Grammer discussing his powerful new memoir, Karen, A Brother Remembers. Kelsey wrote this memoir not only to find closure, but for everyone to know how to celebrate life, particularly life of loved ones that we have lost. I have to tell you so many things about this book. There's so many things that I admire and I find so brave, and I wonder about, you write about the two men who murdered Karen. You have to go back. One has died in prison.
Yeah.
The other, you go back to the parole hearing. How often do you have to do that?
Well, it's funny. It's a funny system. Parole sometimes is pushed off every 3 years. A couple of times he said, I don't want to go for parole, so he doesn't do the hearing, and then he goes for a halfway house or a different kind of release or a different kind of program.
We have the audio of an emotional statement you made to Freddie Glenn at his parole hearing in 2014. This is what you said.
And I want to believe that you could even find a way to become a useful, productive citizen, flourish. The things you say, I accept a lot of them. She was a terrific kid. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. I miss her all the time. And I accept that you actually live with remorse every day of your life, but I live with tragedy every day of mine.
That was in 2014,
Yeah.
parole hearing. In the book, you talk about forgiveness, and there's a back and forth here. How do you explain, as I shared, and my audience is aware, in my sister's murder, no one was ever charged, but the investigator said, we know who it was.
Wow.
It was a person in the home. And I've had people, tell me all kinds of ways they would react, right? What they would do in that situation. I know you've had people say that I would forgive, or I would do. How do you process where you stand in this? Because that person is still alive.
Right. I mean, I tried to have a sense of sympathy about what had happened or what had happened with them, but I still said, I hope you do the world some good. I hope you do out in prison.
Right.
And there's
That doesn't
any number
mean you
of
have
ways
to be free to do.
Doesn't mean you get to go.
And I only ask you this not to be, some talk show host trying to get you to say, I forgive him. That's not why I ask.
Right.
I know that I don't know about stages of grief, right? I don't believe in closure, to be honest with you. I don't believe when someone is taken from you that suddenly life goes back to
Grief
normal.
doesn't go away. It's constant.
I say that all the time. That is my belief. When it comes to how you forgive someone, I'm not even sure that is possible.
Yeah.
Because I tell people, and I'm just going to be honest, I'm not God, and I haven't heard that message yet. I haven't.
Gotcha.
You, though, which I admire so much, that message during the parole hearing, you are saying, I hope you can find a way to do something good.
Yeah.
To me, that's a measure of grace and forgiveness. That is big.
It's
That's big.
It is my belief that any human being, no matter how unimaginably cruel they have been at some point in their lifetime, is capable of doing good. And so that's what I hold out for him. But I don't believe he should be free. I don't believe whatever abrupted his growth or maturation at one point, to allow him to decide he would, put a knife in someone 42 times, this is not turf that is to be harvested in any place but in that garden, which is a garden surrounded by walls.
And again, this is why I so greatly admire you, because you did not have to mention them by name. You did not have to mention any aspect about them, but you found it necessary to be that raw and honest.
Yeah, the book didn't mean anything if it wasn't honest. It doesn't have any value. I mean, I seriously believe that. There's a lot of people, for every story everybody has, there's somebody that has a worse one. I mean, I've heard of sadder stories than mine and greater hardships and all sorts of stuff, but in order to earn the right to actually discuss it, you have to know where you came from.
Wow. And you've done that. More with Kelsey. Kelsey's message for everyone watching who's lost a loved one to violence after the break.
Are y'all ready for the show? Join the Tamron Hall Show audience. Go to TamronHallShow.com. Welcome to the Tamron Hall Show.